Mount Lebanon was an autonomous province within the Ottoman Empire from 1861 to 1918. It was located in the northernmost part of the Levant, and its borders roughly corresponded to the modern-day borders of Lebanon. The borders of Mount Lebanon were not fixed, and they changed over time. The original borders were defined by the Règlement Organique, a set of laws that were enacted in 1861. These laws gave Mount Lebanon a degree of autonomy from the Ottoman government, and they also established a system of government that was based on confessionalism, or the division of power along religious lines. The geography of Mount Lebanon was an important factor in its status as an autonomous province within the Ottoman Empire. The province was located in a mountainous region, which made it difficult to control from the center of the empire. The mountains also provided a natural barrier against invasion, which made Mount Lebanon a strategic location. The province was also home to a diverse population of Christians, Muslims, and Druze. This diversity made it difficult for the Ottoman government to impose a single set of laws and regulations on the region. As a result, the Ottoman government granted Mount Lebanon a degree of autonomy, which allowed the local people to govern themselves. The geography of Mount Lebanon also played a role in its economy. The mountains were well suited for agriculture, and the province was a major producer of olive oil, citrus fruits, and other crops. The mountains also contained valuable mineral resources, such as copper and iron. The economy of Mount Lebanon during the Ottoman Empire was relatively prosperous, as it was also boosted by its strategic location. The province was located on a major trade route between Europe and the Middle East. This trade route brought wealth and prosperity to the province, and it also helped to connect Mount Lebanon to the outside world. The silk economy in Mount Lebanon was a major economic force. In the 19th century, silk accounted for about 50% of the GDP of Mount Lebanon. The region was known for its high-quality silk, which was exported to Europe and other parts of the world. The economy of Mount Lebanon continued to change in the 20th century. The region experienced a period of rapid growth in the early 20th century, but this was followed by a period of decline after World War I. During World War I, the Ottoman Empire blockaded Mount Lebanon for a number of reasons. To weaken the Lebanese economy, the Ottoman Empire was allied with the Central Powers, while Mount Lebanon was seen as sympathetic to the Allied powers. The blockade was an attempt to weaken the Lebanese economy and make it more difficult for the Allies to get supplies. To punish the Lebanese Christians, the majority of the population of Mount Lebanon was Christian, and the Ottoman Empire was suspicious of their loyalty. The blockade was seen as a way to punish the Christians and deter them from supporting the Allies. To control the movement of people, the blockade also made it difficult for people to move in and out of Mount Lebanon. This was seen as a way to prevent the spread of information and to control the population. And the Allies blockaded Mount Lebanon for a number of reasons, including, to prevent supplies from reaching the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was allied with the Central Powers, and the Allies were trying to weaken their enemy. The blockade of Mount Lebanon was an attempt to prevent food and other supplies from reaching the Ottoman Empire. To pressure the Ottoman Empire to surrender, the Allies were hoping that the blockade would force the Ottoman Empire to surrender. They believed that the blockade would cause so much hardship that the Ottoman people would force their government to end the war, and with this blockade, Mount Lebanon instantly lost 50% of its GDP from the silk industry alone, so the economy was devastated if we include the losses in trade also. There were other reasons that led to the widespread famine in Mount Lebanon during World War I. These include drought. A drought in 1915 further exacerbated the food shortage. Locust infestation. A locust infestation in 1916 destroyed crops and further reduced food availability. Ottoman policies. The Ottoman government also played a role in the famine. They imposed discriminatory policies against Christians, who made up a majority of the population of Mount Lebanon. These policies included preventing Christians from buying food and land, and forcing them to work for the Ottoman army. The Allied blockade was the main cause of the famine, but the other factors also contributed to the severity of the crisis. The drought and locust infestation made it difficult to grow food, and the Ottoman policies made it even harder for people to get the food they needed. The famine of Mount Lebanon was a time of great hardship and suffering. However, it also showed the resilience and strength of the human spirit. People from all walks of life came together to help each other, and they showed that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. Here are some specific examples of the behavior of people during the famine. People resorted to desperate measures to survive. Some people ate grass, leaves, and even tree bark. Others turned to crime, such as theft and robbery, and there are reports of cannibalism. Still others died of starvation or disease. People shared what little food they had with others. People shared their food with their neighbors, friends, and family. They also opened their homes to those who had lost their homes. People helped to care for the sick and dying. People volunteered at hospitals and clinics, and they cared for the sick and dying in their own homes. People risked their lives to smuggle food into Mount Lebanon. They did this because they believed that everyone had a right to food, regardless of their circumstances. Here are some of the consequences of the famine. The famine caused widespread death and displacement. An estimated 200,000 people died, which is the third of the total population, and another 200,000 people were displaced from their homes. Some villages were empty. The famine caused widespread economic devastation. The agricultural sector was decimated, and many businesses were forced to close. The famine contributed to political instability in Mount Lebanon. The Ottoman government was weakened by the war, and the famine created a power vacuum that was filled by sectarian militias. The famine exacerbated social unrest in Mount Lebanon. The Christians and Muslims blamed each other for the famine, and this led to increased sectarian tensions. The famine had a long-term impact on Mount Lebanon. It contributed to the outbreak of the Lebanese Civil War in 1975, and it continues to be a source of pain and trauma for many people. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to this channel.